creativity has an enemy. I don't know if you've ever had an enemy before. I had a giant business deal go south one time, and I just can't talk about a ton of the details, but I had a guy who I just couldn't even stand to see him. I would see his car. It wasn't even his car. I was states away at this point, but it was the kind of car he drove. And have this elevated heart rate. All of a sudden I want to drive irrationally because there was this feeling like this guy was my enemy. And what a lot of people don't realize, if they want to learn how to be consistently creative, that creativity has an enemy, and it's not what they think. It's not something external. It's not the fact that you're in a cubicle when you could wish you have your own office. It's not the fact that if they only understood, if the client could really get the vision of your work, everything would be fine. And I know we have difficult clients. I get all that. The enemy to our creativity, it's fear. And I know we've heard a lot about that more and more in cultural dialogue around this idea about what it means to not be afraid and to move forward. But here's what most people don't understand when they talk about fear and creativity and that connection. They think the connection between fear and creativity is project-based. Like, okay, creativity is going to be there if you pursue that thing that you're afraid of doing. And what I want you to think about it this way is there's who you are and there's what you do. And so, yeah, that thing may make you afraid to get out and do that work, because you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know if you'll be found lacking. You don't know what the reception will be like. But it's not really that you're afraid of what happens with what you do, and you're not really afraid of how they receive you. There's a core fear there that's something about your identity. And this is why all brilliant creative work that's sustainable, okay, we're talking about being consistently creative, comes out of a secure identity. I know that sometimes there's this narrative that says to be creative, you have to be an artist in pain. There has to be some kind of angst. Those are the kind of people that don't live a full life. They may do some great work out of their pain, but it's a spurt. It's a shot. It's not something that's continuing. And I want to continue my creativity. I don't want to become some cartoony caricature of myself that's a stupid meme in the future because I'm not at the edge of my abilities. I'm not doing work that scares me. How am I going to be consistently creative? It's not by just saying, oh, I'm afraid to tackle that project, so I'm going to do it. It's about at the core of who I am, understanding that whether that project is completed or not, it doesn't change who I am. Look, if your identity is insecure, then you say, well, if I get that work done, or if I get it done a certain way, or if people respond to me a certain way, then I can know that I am valuable. I can know that I'm loved. I can know that I'm secure. I can know that I'm not alone. I can know that my needs will be taken care of. And here's what I'm telling you. You can give yourself that gift now, and it's out of that abundance that you can continually innovate and be creative. There's a book called Creative Constraint, Beautiful Constraint, and it talks about this idea that scarcity and abundance are an infinite loop. That as soon as abundance is there, scarcity will threaten it. And then as soon as scarcity is there, you have a moment to find abundance. So you don't have to feel defeated. Here's abundance. I can create consistently. I can expand my creativity. I can give to the world. Abundance, when I have a secure identity. Scarcity, I've given and I'm tired, right? It's an infinite loop. Every time you feel afraid in your identity, it's an opportunity to find abundance. And when you find that abundance in who you are, you give that gift to yourself, that you can say, hey, I may be physically alone, but internally I don't have to be alone. And I know this sounds like some woo-woo weird stuff, but it's deep and it changes everything when you get it. Hey, I don't have to define my worth by the work that I do or by how people receive it. I've got to do the thing that's an extension of who I am. I want to bring the unobstructed creative expression of who I am into what I do. How are you going to get there? You got to figure out who you are. So the enemy of creativity is fear, but it's not a general fear in what you do or how people think of you. It's a fear about who you are. So take a long walk in the woods and just contemplate this, wrestle with this, think about this question. What am I afraid of in who I am? What am I afraid of isn't true about me that I'd like to be true of me? And then learn to give yourself that gift. Peace.